Kenneth Forbin. I'm a member of the Minnesota Cameroon community, and tonight I'm glad to present to you a panel discussion involving the President of MINCAM, Dr. Robert Tamukong, the Secretary General, Mr. Robert Esoka-Indeli, and the Chairman of the Representative Assembly, Foso Foji Fongang Bangwana. Two basic principles in community organizing are democratic elections and membership engagement. Membership engagement is a social contract, a contract that requires the leaders to keep their word to the electorates while expecting them to be engaged. Ladies and gentlemen, our panel. To my right, Mula Robert Esoka-Indeli, the newly elected Secretary General of the Minnesota Cameroon Community. Right next to Mr. Robert Esoka-Indeli, Dr. Robert Tamukong. And to my extreme right is Foso Foji Fongang Bangwana, the Chairman of the Representative Assembly. Gentlemen, you're all welcome to the program.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Let me start with you, Mr. President. Congratulations on your elections.
Thank you.
At the eve of the elections, quite so many promises to the electorates. How far have you gone? Close to 90 days in meeting some of the aspirations of the people.
Thank you, Mr. Kenneth Forbin, for giving us this opportunity as executives of the Minnesota community here to express ourselves and to tell the Cameroon people today how far we've gone since the 28th of August when we took over the helm of this community officially through the handing over ceremony that happened at the Maplewood Library. I would first of all like to start by thanking the crew who made it here tonight, especially the chairperson of the Representative Assembly in the person of Foso Mbangwana. And so for Bangwana and Mr. Robert Esoka, our able Secretary General, as well as you, Mr. Kenneth Forbin, for bringing this bright idea. 64 days exactly today since we took over the Minnesota Cameroon Community Organization. We have achieved quite a bit based on the promises that we gave the Cameroon community. The first thing that we did was to actually push forward the life insurance program that was initiated by the old executive. So far, we've had, up till this day, we've had 119 people enrolled with the life insurance program, which is quite an achievement, given the fact that we took over it barely a month ago, and we drove it, and about 119 people are subscribed as of today. We also have children riders under those policies, so if we actually put them together, we would have over 200 Cameroonians in Minnesota within the last month who have been part of this life insurance thing. I would give the opportunity to my able Secretary General, Mr. Robert Esoka, to talk about the newly design logo that we came up with.
Thank you, Dr. Robert Tamukong. Today, we just presented a new logo to the General Assembly of MINCAM. This is something we've been working on tirelessly behind the scenes, and we've gone through quite a number of stage gates to actually get this logo out. And the logo is quite colorful and looks very beautiful, very catchy, it has warm colors in it. And we tried to make a marriage between Cameroon and Minnesota, keeping in mind that we're an immigrant community in designing the logo. And the logo has it's a threefold concept logo, which the first concept being that it represents the colorful map and the patriotic colors that show Cameroon. And it also has a handshake embedded in it, which shows the friendship, our unity here in Minnesota. It also has a map of Minnesota and of Cameroon. The fundamental idea about this is to show that MINCAM is an entity operating within the state of Minnesota.
Thank you very much, Mr. Robert Esoka, and thank you very much, Dr. Robert Tamukong. Let me harp a little bit more about the life insurance program. It's something that the community has been looking forward to having, and I think it's kudos to you and your team for bringing it to light, and also kudos to the previous administration for working so hard to continue to enlighten the community about the idea. Moving forward, one of the things that people look for in things like life insurance is they want to get that assurance that it will be properly managed, They want to make sure that they do not get into a life insurance program this year and then the next year the program collapses. What are some of the administrative structures you intend or have already put in place to make sure that the idea about life insurance is quite sustainable?
That is a very good question that you are pushing forward at this time. First of all, we are working with a very credible underwriter, which is the Hartford program. They are covering over 250 other cultural groups, not only in Minnesota, but across the U.S. That makes it a credible organization that we can trust and work with. Regarding the structures that we have put in place to make sure that this life insurance is sustained over the years, we have entrusted this into the hands of our able elected financial secretary, who is unfortunately not here today, in the person of Mr. Mokin Dobedi. He is going through sensitizing members of the community about the importance of this program, and he is sorting through the mails and making sure that every information that is given into the office is accurate, and he is working in close collaboration with the underwriter to make sure that that information gets to the point.
Now, talking about engaging the community and reaching out to the community, to your extreme right is Foji Fogambagwana, who is the chairman of the Representative Assembly, which of course is that huge connection we have between the executive and the grassroots. And it's always the debate and the discussion, because the Rep Assembly is a strange organ that is not usually found in contemporary or traditional non-profit organizations. So I'd like to get Mr. Foji Bangwana into this discussion to tell us what role you think the Rep Assembly would be playing, especially in sensitizing the general public and the cultural groups about the life insurance.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Forbin. I would say that the Rep Assembly is at the beginning of this association and has the uniqueness of bringing a cultural aspect to the community, and also as a resource and a pool where the executives can especially go to be able to get more members so that we can grow as an association. Because even though today we've attained quite a bit of a significant number of membership, there are still some Cameroonians out there that still need to be contacted and talked to and brought into the fold, and the Rep Assembly can help in being able to be the base for that.
Thank you. But let's talk a little bit about engaging the community, because that's, of course, like I said at the introductory statement, it's one of the basic principles of moving our community organization is to engage the membership. And recently, the President, you sent out a communique announcing the creation of quite a good number of committees in which you are engaging people from the grassroots to take part and take this the organization into their own hands. Could you say a little bit about some of, I know there were quite a good number of them, but could you tell us a little bit about some of those committees and perhaps a few expectations you have for these committees?
Sure. Part of my promises on the campaign trail was actually to bring the Cameroon community together. And one of those, one of the means I am using is actually bringing to light those committees that would be able to bring Cameroonians together in order to work towards the same goal, which is unity and friendship. And there were two other standing committees that were in existence before the other committees were created. That was the Education Committee and, of course, the Representative Assembly that was in existence. So in addition to that, we built on top of that to create 8 other committees, including the Communication Committee, which I would like to thank today. They are the ones who are actually bringing this discussion today to fruition, and I hope to continue. To hope them to continue in this same spirit and bring some more discussions on the media. That is our first committee, which you happen to belong to, and our Secretary General belongs to that same committee. We have the Project Committee. One of our key projects that we have here in Minnesota, and it's been a problem to us over the years, is the lack of a community center for Cameroonians here. And we are working towards making sure that Cameroonians in Minnesota can benefit from a community center here in the next 3 years of this administration. So the project committee is one of the key committees that we put in place to work towards that goal. There is the Health and Wellness Committee that is coming to light. There are people with various backgrounds in healthcare. We hope to organize health fairs. There are people in our community here who cannot access healthcare directly, either because they don't have access to that information or they don't have the opportunity to actually avail themselves of that information. However, the health committee that is coming to light will organize health fairs that would educate the Cameroon community in Minnesota about opportunities that they could avail themselves of. Would probably make sure that we take care of our fathers and our mothers who come from Cameroon. A lot of them lack those basic health facilities that could take care of them. So we'll make sure that the health committee covers that area as well. There is the advisory committee, which is going to serve in their capacity to advise the president and the rest of the executive to take a direction that would benefit the Cameroon community here in Minnesota. As much as we have that project committee, we have an education committee that would work hand in hand with the project committee to make sure that we recognize, we are going to build up onto that graduation recognition ceremony that we used to have in the past. In addition to the graduation recognition ceremony, we'll make sure that the committee actually builds onto what we call the mentor-mentee program. We are working on career pathways, and I had told people in the past that whether we like it or not, the grounds under our feet are shifting as years are going by. Our community here is made up of a lot of young people coming into the fold, and we want to make sure that we give them good orientation in terms of education. So that's one part that the education committee is going to play a very important key role that I'm thinking about here in building that career pathway program that would benefit the young people.
Yeah, so great. I understand you have quite a list of those committees, and they were put out to the community out there, and I think people are already fully engaged. It's a pretty good thing. But you said a couple of things I would like the other members to kind of happen a little bit to expatiate. And when we talk about the communications committee, it's all the idea about reaching to the masses, making sure that they are well informed. And Mr. Robert Sokarendeli, you happen to be the Secretary General and the leader of the communications committee, and communications involve technology and it involves getting in touch with the people. One of the things I know would have to be expanded upon would be the website. So what are some of the plans you're having to get the website really active and engaging? And what other things would you add in the communications committee?
Right, so one of the goals of the communications committee is to make sure the MINCAM website is the first stop for anybody who wants to learn about MINCAM. It's the first place everybody goes to. I want to drive as much traffic there on that site as much as possible. One of the things we also want to do is to take off the pressure we currently have on the MINCAM e-forum and divert that pressure to the website, such that if we have communications like committee publications and things like that, we're going to publish it on the forum and send them to go to the website. We're going to post a link on the forum and say, hey, go to the website and get more information on that. I'm currently working with a hosting company right now that's probably going to give us one of the best discounts we can have on hosting fees. I'm working with guys in town here who have been long in technology. They know website management and administration. That's one part. The other part about the communications committee is to bring people who are able to communicate the vision of MINCAM to non-MINCAM members. For example, if you want to do a fund drive, we are bringing people who can sell the image of MINCAM out there. And one of the blessings we have is to have you, who is the author and owner of Decalo. I'm planning to use Decalo as a springboard for MINCAM. So people can go to MINCAM, read about events of individuals in MINCAM. Like the other day, we posted a good story about Mr. Ndeli, who happens to also be in the project committee.
Sure.
He posted a story of him he has been in Minnesota for 25 years. Those are the kind of nice stories I want posted there to give people an awareness of how immigrants have evolved here in Minnesota. We're also thinking of leveraging the strength of EsteemTV, which is being led, the CEO being Mr. Ambe. Use that also as a tool, as an ambassador for MINCAM?
Yeah, talking about an ambassador, one of the things that brings MINCAM together is the concept of our cultural heritage.